Miguel's been good at it. So let's see. Paul got it this time. We're loving the music again. So yeah, just a shout out to one of our sponsors, Handshake Institute, our Handshake Jesus. I think a lot of you hopefully had a chance to encounter with him. He's the red heart. All right. So it's our final session for HandyCon. I know a lot of people are excited about this. Of course, everybody knows Johnny Wu. I mean, man, you're the first person I connected with in the Handshake ecosystem.
Yeah.
I think many of us, you're the first point of contact, and it's been really a pleasure to become friends. I would say friends, and you're really doing amazing things for Handshake. So I think we all second that. And you're hosting this session. And Fistful, you want to have anything before we pop off?
No, I'm just really excited to get this started. A lot of questions that people are going to ask, so I'm glad that people will be able to, the community will be able to get some stuff off their chest and ask.
Awesome. So we'll duck out now, and I'm excited for this myself to be watching. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Johnny.
Just really quick, make sure you utilize the Q&A tab when asking questions, so it's all organized, and you can upvote and downvote certain questions that you think are good or not. And that's it. Sorry.
Cool. Yeah. So, hey everyone. Before I kind of talk about Namebase's our plans for 2022 and whatnot, we have a very special guest, Hillan from Namecheap. He's the COO of Namecheap. If you're not familiar, COOs are usually second in command to CEO. So, really appreciate him taking the time out to really just give us a little kind of briefing of why Namecheap got into Handshake in the first place.
Awesome. Thank you, Johnny, and hi, everybody. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you guys, and hopefully I won't take too much of your time, so I know there's an exciting session that Johnny's got planned, but just a great opportunity to talk to you guys. And I'll start with Namecheap, right? Namecheap is and always has been focused on privacy, on internet freedom, and has been anti-censorship both in our values, but also in practice. Over the years, we've contributed financially in support of the EFF, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, and Fight for the Future, having donated over $500,000 to their causes. So we've also been early adopters as new technology emerges. We started accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment as early as 2013. As you do, we truly believe that blockchain is going to revolutionize pretty much every industry, and the domain industry was never considered to be an exception. In fact, on the contrary, we anticipated it would be one of the first to be disrupted. As the second largest domain registrar in the world, we feel that our position allows us the opportunity to stand for what we believe in and to stand for what we believe the future of the domain industry really should be. Considering that, we strongly believe in privacy, and we've actually been in legal battles on numerous occasions defending our customers' rights to privacy online. It's only natural for us to continue to fight to maintain that right. And there have been emerging discussions in the domain industry around requiring registrants in the EU, and actually it's emerging here in the United States as well, to give up excessive personal information of customers in order to simply register a domain. Now, we believe that this will not only create friction for the user, but it'll compromise our users' privacy as well, which is just one example, and there are many, of why we want to support Handshake and why we wanted to be part of this community. We believe that decentralization as a protocol should enable a more private and secure internet, where we would have a role in facilitating transactions only. Not one where registrars like us, like Namecheap and others, have the power to freeze accounts, to censor users, or determine what should or should not be online. So our immediate focus is to gain wider exposure for Handshake and to decentralize wherever possible. Our perspective is that having an SLD registry in place is going to really enable us to tightly integrate with Namebase, and it'll open up the funnel across all registrars, not just Namecheap, creating a larger overall marketplace and a greater exposure to customers as well. To accomplish this, SLDs themselves need to be decentralized. Right now, they're offered, managed, operated, and even held in almost exactly the same way that exists in the traditional SLD model. And so we believe in the idea of progressive decentralization, which ultimately promotes adoption, which is why we'll continue to allow SLD sales in the more traditional way while focusing on a better solution in parallel. All of this will create more outlets for name-based domains to be sold, which will ultimately deliver value to this community. We also believe in having a non-custodial wallet capability, and it's something that will come in time, but that needs to be integrated not only into Namebase, but on the registrar side as well. So something that we're thinking about, but that's something that we'll be looking at over time. Beyond this, we plan to bolster adoption and domain resolution by supporting Handshake until it's just basically too big to ignore. And as we do so, we believe there will be opportunities for us to have discussions with DNS providers and browsers to try and influence their adoption as well. We love seeing tools that are being built in the community, such as HNS Chat, which is anonymously and securely based on Handshake identities. I know there was a session on HNS Chat yesterday as well. And these kinds of tools will empower people to get on board with the technology, creating utility, which will be a core driver to adoption. Now, I can also tell you guys that we have an exclusive announcement that Tld and Sld integration via Namebase into our Namecheap domain search will be ready to go live in about a month from today. So this means that all Tld holders will now be able to monetize their TLDs by selling SLDs to millions of customers on the second largest registrar in the world's platform, on Namecheap. So something we're really excited about. We haven't spoken about that publicly before, so this is the first time that anybody's hearing about it, but definitely something that we've been working toward, and we're really excited to share with you guys today, and hopefully you get excited about that as well. And look, at the end of the day, our acquisition of Namebase is still pretty fresh for us. We're still figuring it out, but we are hiring. So if you're interested, please reach out. We are hiring, and once we're on solid footing, then we plan to be much more active in the community as well. This really isn't just about profit for us. It is actually about what HNS stands for. It's about being part of the discussion in this community as the future of our industry is emerging. So we're very passionate about Handshake. We're very passionate about what's to come. And we look forward to participating and collaborating with you guys as we move forward together as well. So again, just something really brief, really jumped at the opportunity to get to come and speak with you guys. So I want to thank you for this opportunity, and that's really it. So I'll hand it back over to you, Johnny.
Cool, sounds good. Thanks so much, Hillan.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I gotta say that was a real bomb that gets dropped on me, because I was not expecting that to come so soon. Like I didn't even hear about those plans, so that's really awesome. And then just to piggyback on what Hillan was saying about Namecheap not being in it for the money, that was actually one of my biggest concerns when I heard about the acquisition. I was like, oh no, what does this mean for Handshake and whatnot? But after a lot of talking with the Namecheap folks, it's they're really here for the core value of Handshake. So yeah, I couldn't be more excited to be working with you guys. Cool.
Likewise. Thank you.
So with that said, I'm going to start sharing my screen. preferences. Okay. I actually can't share my screen right now.
Maybe it might be a tech thing. Maybe they need to give you permissions to.
I mean, the others, there should be next to the microphone, there should be like a.
No, yeah, it's this has never happened to me before, but
It's a little
bear with me,
risky
guys.
to refresh your browser, but we'd lose you for a few seconds at least.
Yeah, Matt says just hold up a mirror. That should work.
Yes.
Damn, this is.
I think I found it. Okay, give me a sec.
Is Hillan going to stay with us, or should we?
No, Hillan's welcome to dip. Meanwhile, give me a sec. I am going to refresh my browser. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right, everybody. Yeah, keep
All
using the Q&A if you have questions. We will. I'll put my camera on. I can do a dance, or maybe we can play another video.
Yeah, you're just gonna need to hold with us while.
Well, yeah, I mean,
we
that's
get this
really
stuff
awesome.
fixed.
Okay, he's back pretty fast. All right, thanks, Robert.
Damn.
I think, yeah. Did you go? He updated Chrome, man. People watch my YouTube and they see me with the red bar, like emergency, you need to upgrade. Okay, Johnny's back.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do.
Still not working? Oh no.
Can I send you guys a link and then you guys?
Yeah, for sure.
Share your screen.
For sure. Yeah. In the speaker chat, maybe.
Sounds good. Cool.
Okay.
Thank goodness I'm the last talk. Jeez.
It's all good. You can just yeah, it's loading.
Is Hillan going to answer questions? Actually, no. He does have to run. It's crazy that he even managed to squeeze the time to drop in to give us a little briefing.
I could download this PDF, but I think I'll just share.
Do you want me to do it? I can do it. I can share.
Yeah, my computer's over.
Yeah, I got you.
My Chrome's not updated either.
Yeah, here I got you. Really
Johnny remembers last year, man. Remember last year with this? I was over. My computer was like.
There we go. And
yeah,
I
mean, I gotta say, with the year,
official presenter now.
You definitely got one noticeable change is your internet connection is a lot better.
I'm wired in. I'm wired in. I'm not wireless. I have a plugged-in router.
Well, it looks like we're live.
Okay,
I'll just let you know to. Actually, I'll use the speaker chat to say next. But yeah, so I'm going to be really talking about kind of. It's not our roadmap because roadmap, like you guys know in the community that there's no chance. That there's pretty much we've never been accurate on any time estimates, so we're not going to give a roadmap kind of thing. But what I can share is kind of what we're thinking about for 2022, what we're trying to accomplish this year. Cool. So let's get into it. Yeah, so actually, before I even get started, I do want to address maybe kind of an elephant in the room kind of situation. You'll notice in the top right corner, there's no Namebase. We're not a sponsor this year. Why not? Really, Namecheap has been. I mean, if you guys weren't aware, like a significant portion of Namecheap's staff is Ukrainian based, and so like Hillan himself, he's really on the ground working. Supporting their operations and really ensuring that their staff is safe in Ukraine. And then on top of that, we're also really heads down focusing on hiring really world-class developers to develop at Namebase, right, on Handshake. So these two things combined really, unfortunately, we weren't able to participate as much in HandyCon as we would have liked. But that's kind of the situation there. And then before I actually jump into this, if you are a speaker, just final call to submit your free hoodie forms. The one way we're trying to at least be somewhat involved with HandyCon on the supporting side is we are gifting free Handshake hoodies to all our speakers. So if you're a speaker, fill out that form. You should have got one. And then, yeah, I plan to make those. I plan to submit those orders tomorrow. Cool. All right. So to also address something really common question, like what does this mean? Is Namebase now like owned by Namecheap? What's the situation? So I think this is the best situation possible. Okay. So Namebase, we're still just an independent lean startup. We're a completely separate entity, completely startup frame of mind. But at the same time, we get access to Namecheap's treasure chests, right? Their financial resources, their reach, their audience, and their reputation as well. So we get the best of the startup and the traditional world, right? We have like a lot of backing from Namecheap's side, but at the same time, we can move quickly at Namebase. So what are we going to do with this great situation? The two focuses for, let's go back one. Yeah, the two focuses for this year is going to be on the Namebase product and then really supporting Handshake's kind of value prop. And I'll break down what that really means. So what I mean by improving, like focusing on Namebase's product, in the past, it hasn't been explicitly clear really what like Namebase's like mission statement is, or you know, kind of like the guiding light. But I think we've really narrowed that down now. We just want to be by far the easiest way to use Handshake, right? And then so one way we can really measure how effective we are at that is to kind of see how we can measure our efficacy by maybe like the average time or the total time it takes newcomers to speed run getting to a name, right? Starting from zero, how quickly can they get to a name on average time? Right. So what that means is some of the specific changes we want to make. The very first one is the landing page. I think one thing is like explaining what people should be able to come to the Namebase page and immediately understand what Handshake is and why it's really valuable and interesting within a couple seconds. And right now, that's not the case, right? Right now, we have things like top sales, 26,000% or whatnot, which doesn't really mean much. Just personal feelings. It almost feels a little, for lack of a better word, like cheapening Handshake, because we don't need to tell people that Handshake names are valuable, right? If we explain the why of why Handshake exists, what it's trying to do, how it's trying to do that, then naturally, it's a very natural conclusion that these names are valuable. We don't need to explicitly take up real estate on the landing page to these 20,000% numbers. And just to really highlight that, like when I'm introducing Handshake, personally, when I'm introducing Handshake to others, I don't actually share the Namebase.io website first. I actually share the pinned tweet that we have on our Namebase Twitter, because that currently is the most concise way of explaining Handshake. But the good side of that is we can then just kind of reformat those tweet threads into the new landing page. And then hopefully newcomers can come in, they see the landing page, get it really quickly, and then they're on their way to getting their Handshake name, setting up a website. Cool. Some other changes, some other things we want to do. We've been talking about this for a while, but I think we can do it this year, is Fiat on-ramp, right? Right now it's only USD and only some US residents, or yeah, only like a portion of US residents actually get access to that USD. We can actually just accept debit card transactions, just use your local currency, purchase Handshake. You don't need to go through the Bitcoin stuff, right? Another thing, a really common question is, where's my Bitcoin? Where's my Handshake? Where are my names? This is referring to deposits or withdrawals. We don't have a indicator. That might not contribute directly to reducing the amount of time it might take a newcomer to speedrun. But it will save them a lot of time being frustrated and coming to the Discord asking about where's my money, kind of situation like that, right? So progress indicators definitely coming. More functionality to SLD gifts, like actually giving the giftee access to their DNS record so they can edit it themselves, and then giving more control to the gifter as well to revoke those. Those are really natural next steps for sure. And that, of course, contributes to the accelerating the speed at which someone can get a name, because that's a really great way to kind of get onboarded onto Handshake, kind of try things out before getting a name themselves, right? Reducing block confirmations. That's a pretty low-hanging fruit. It takes a long time when you deposit HNS to Namebase. We don't need 20 block confirmations, so we can just slash those. And then the last one, let's see how this goes. But Fis, if you want to click that link, I do have a demo for our kind of new user onboarding experience. Oh. Yes. Okay, cool. Are we here? Cool. I think the first one you want to do is probably click sign up. Okay. If you want to go back to the slide, click the link, because this shouldn't actually be the first page you see. Oh, it says you got to log in. That is frustrating because that is probably the most exciting part of this presentation is the demo. Go ahead and try to click the top right, expand to full screen. And then let's see if you can kind of sneak your cursor to the sign up at the very edge. Nice, let's do it. Okay, so you're a new user, you're signing up to Namebase. Great, so a little quick intro video to what Handshake is about, right? And we don't, yeah, and then let's get started. Cool. So the very first thing you do is you're going to want to get some Handshake coins. So let's click get HNS. Oh, I guess we got to make that a little more obvious. Yeah. So in this case, probably no. Just to go through this new user, let's say no for that. Yes or no doesn't really matter. I want to do the Bitcoin one because there's a lot more confusion with Bitcoin, purchasing Handshake with Bitcoin than with USD. Go ahead and scroll down. And you'll see we have little pop-ups now, little tooltips that kind of explain what's going on here, right? I'll say this again later, but we really want to frame Handshake as a onboarding tool for no coiners. So all of this stuff needs to be as understandable as possible for someone who's never interacted with crypto before. So go ahead and click the yes. So the individual pastes their Bitcoin address in, they hit next, and then you verify your address, scroll down a little bit. That's what you do, send your Bitcoin to that address, right? So let's click the copy icon, and then click it again just to accelerate time. And then great, your Handshake is on your way. Your transaction is detected. Give it 30 minutes. Let's go back to the dashboard. So while we're waiting for Handshake, let's see how we can get a name. So this is the part that I'm most excited about, right? So many newcomers getting their name sniped, having an awful first-time experience. Let's go ahead and search for a personal name. Cool. And so we'll kind of break it down, explaining there are different kinds of names, whatnot. But the cool part, let's go to start with auctions. Oh, to the top, there's a little blue icon that says start with auctions. This is actually really helpful, by the way, what you're doing, Fiscal, as far as like letting us know where we need to improve in our UI as well. So entering demo mode, let's go. So demo mode, you kind of get free handshake coins, and then we're walked through the actual auction process in like a sandbox situation, right? So I'll go ahead and just click through all this information. I think everybody in the audience is familiar with this part. But you'll see, right, there's lots of text. We're breaking down, really telling you what Handshake is about. Of course, we know that most folks probably skim a little too quickly. Maybe scroll down a bit. Yeah. So scheduled, right? What does scheduled mean? So confusing. So let's explain how bids work. When we submit bids to the blockchain, it might take a little time to mine it, right? Let's skip ahead a few days in the auction time. Probably scroll back up. Definitely room for improvement here. We got it. Understand how the auction time works. It really explaining block time here, right? We three separate things all about block time, about how that's different than normal time, because so many people set their alarms 20 minutes and then they realize like, oh, the timing doesn't match up. And then of course a little pop-up to really call out snipers, and then really, yeah, because newcomers often they're like, oh, I didn't know sniping was a thing. We are explicitly letting you know snipers are a thing and what you can do about it. Cool. Maybe scroll down is probably what we got to do. Great. And then we have case studies. So I would let you do this part, Fist. We're in the bidding period right now. Which bidder will win this auction? Impossible to tell. That is accurate. There's no way to tell. The auction's not even over, right? So let's do it. Skipping ahead to the reveal period. Right, bidders reveal the period, and then how much does the auction winner pay? Oh, I think you missed that one. Second highest bid, right? So 21 HNS. There should be a little, I feel like a little red X to let you know you didn't quite get that one. It looks like we skipped ahead a little bit, but that's okay. Breaking down marketplace listings, we got it. And then, okay, I'm ready. And that's pretty much the demo, right? You got the basics down, you got the sandbox down. You can always go back to that sandbox as well anytime you get confused. So yeah, that's been, I've been teasing this a lot for months, and then the acquisition stuff, so things kind of slowed down, but this will be coming out. And I think this would be a real game changer for the new user onboarding experience. So let's go back to those slides. Yeah, so that stuff so far has been about speed running, getting a name, right? Making it as quick as possible to get yourself a name. But the like really core value of Namebase is marketplace, which can finally now get its much deserved attention, right? So some obvious additions you'll see. This one, not the best first impression because our default sorting sometimes have some pretty random names at absurd pricing. Just based on the experience eBay had with playing with even nominal listing fees, they saw just massive improvements in the quality of listings that they had. And so I think one thing we'll be experimenting with is kind of like a paid promotion of your name. So the default sorting will be like the Spotlight tab. And then not sure how that algorithm will work, but the hypothesis is that folks who are willing to pay more to list their name higher are probably have higher quality names. Cool. Next slide, please. Some further marketplace additions that are coming: seller profiles. One thing I'd personally like to see for seller profile, when you use Namebase and you go to the dashboard, it'll say like hello or welcome and then your name. Would be really awesome is if you can use Handshake logins to replace that login name with your Handshake name, and that same name can also be your seller profile name as well, right? So feedback I think would be helpful. Make an offer, communication for sure coming soon. Fun fact: make an offer actually accounts for the majority of marketplace sales. So interesting situation, but I think that means we should lean further into that. An obvious one: communication. Yeah, the one difficulty with communication, why that's taken so long, is abuse, right? Dealing with kind of chat abuse, like gaming companies have to deal with this all the time. It's such a headache. One idea we might play around with is maybe pay one HNS to send a comment. It might it might nudge you in the direction to send more helpful comments, but we shall see. Yes, minimum offers. So you'll see in the offer settings top right, minimum offers for sure. But at the same time, I'm also showing off a portfolio sales, right? So here, the first example is a portfolio example of like emojis. So being able to sell an entire collection of names all at once. And then, yeah, so I'm demoing two coming features at the same time. The bottom one is automated parking pages. If you buy a name in really like any traditional registrar, you just automatically get a parking page. There's no reason why we can't do that for Namebase. Shouldn't take too long. And I think that would be really helpful because then anyone who visits that page can actually see something. And then we have one more quick demo, the Sellers Portal demo. So we'll probably deal with the screen share issue again, but let's do it. Yeah, Paul, buying collections, exactly, like portfolio sales, bulk sales. Okay, fantastic. So the first thing you'll notice, your domains, what's underneath that has been asked for forever. We've already built this functionality with redirects, so we're just going to reuse it right there. It's a domain search function in your domain manager. Like, really obvious, we're going to do it. Let's go to the seller portal now. It's a tab right next to your domain. So this used to say for sale. This used to be called the for sale tab. It's called the seller portal now because this is now your entire portfolio. It's not just your listings. Some asks we've had, lots of asks is like, hey, I don't want to have to click the name, go to the manager, hit for sale. It's like so many clicks, right? Here you can just do it all in one go. You can do the searches for your domain. You can list it, unlist it, change the price if you want. So if you scroll down a little bit, there should be one called Greg. You can click the blue button. This is all in Figma, so of course this stuff is not live, right? And then if you go to cigarettes, click the edit price. So right above it. Right, so we click it, set a price really quickly, and then we can list it for sale real quick. Bam, done. Way less painful than how it works currently, right? And then the last thing to showcase, if you want to scroll up to the top, this one's not so much about the seller portal, but if you hit transfers, you will see name withdrawals. Right now, when you withdraw a name off of Namebase, there's no receipt. Like, you don't get an email about it. And there's not really any way for you to check the status of your name withdrawal. We're going to put it right there. So cool. All right, let's pop back into the presentation. And I think we're just enough time. So far I've been talking about name-based improvements, right? But in the beginning I mentioned there's two focuses. Two focuses. One is the name-based product, and then the other one is really strengthening the branding of Handshake. If we want to skip one more, Yeah, so if we really break down the essence of Handshake, what it is, it's decentralized top-level domains. So we're gonna help support strengthening that branding by, next slide. The first thing, Hillan kind of teased it a little bit, but Namecheap really cares about decentralized second-level domains because there's a very high risk of conventional Web 2 domains requiring like KYC to just get a domain name, which is kind of insane. And so that's kind of why Namecheap that's one of the reasons Namecheap got into Handshake is their belief is Handshake can fill that void there, right? And so one pretty awesome thing is Namecheap wants to plug their registry into Namebases, or maybe it's the other way around. You'll notice there's a little red line through the name staking the Namebase registry is incompatible because that is the priority is decentralized second level domains, making that an actual thing, right? So no longer incompatible. And then the other cool thing is by plugging Namecheap's registry into Namebases, what do we get from that, right? So the obvious one is you get the Namecheap audience who already cares about privacy and crypto. So they're already aligned with concepts like Handshake. On top of that, you get exposure to kind of all like Namecheap's customers, right? Currently, we don't have exposure to Namecheap's customers. The Handshake domains that Namecheap's selling are just names that they themselves own. But now anybody will be able to sell Handshake names, your SLDs on Namecheap as well. But then one pretty awesome thing for the TLD stakers here is you will be getting the same tools that existing registries get, right? So you're going to get the same tools that ICANN TLD owners get. So like verisign.com, you're going to get the same kind of dashboards and tools as that. So that should be a pretty cool development. Yeah, because one common complaint is currently our registry, there's not much tooling for TLD owners. You don't get much stats and stuff like that. All of that will be changing. Next slide, please. All right, and some other things to support Handshake's branding. DNS key, RSig, TLSA records, they're covered. All right, like the reason Handshake exists, if you actually go back, the reason Handshake exists, the reason why we need to decentralize the root zone is for the ultimate goal of replacing certificate authorities. A little technical, but it's currently not really possible. Namebase doesn't really support that kind of vision right now because you can't set the records you need to enable Dane, but that will be changing. Cool. Another one is onboarding strong brands onto their Handshake domains, right? That doubles as both adoption and marketing. I will be working with some community members to do that. One thing I want to do is I want to contract out community members to try some biz dev. Just kind of on your own time. We can do like a maybe 10-hour contract in 1 month kind of thing. Plenty of flexibility there. Yeah, but doubling as both adoption and marketing, it'd be amazing if Uniswap mirrored their website on the unicorn emoji, right? Creating a no coiner onboarding program. So that's the bottom left. Handshake is like the most elegant blockchain teaching tool for beginners. Like it was my very first, it was the very first blockchain that I kind of got into, and it was so easy to understand because like decentralizing finance or like NFTs are kind of, it's not the most obvious what's happening there. But for Handshake, it's so simple. It's like, okay, there's this thing called ICANN. They control all the top level domains, and Handshake decentralizes that. It's like, okay. And then through the auction process, you naturally learn about block time. You naturally learn about mining, what mining transactions means, and all that stuff too, right? Yeah, so that's something we want to lean into is developing like no coiner onboarding education programs, maybe like on Coinbase Earn. There's plenty of these other platforms out there as well for that. And then the last thing, the reason I have a screenshot of the directors here is because with Namecheap, right? I mentioned what we kind of get access to their financial resources. So one thing to engage with our namer community is our community is global, so we might as well take advantage of that. We can sponsor our directors to go out to blockchain conferences that are near them to talk about Handshake, to network, to really get the word out. Why not, right? Next slide. Cool. And then the last thing. So so I kind of talked about the Namebase product. I talked about how we're supporting Handshake's branding, or the branding is not even the right word, like mission, right? And then the last thing is the namer community itself. So this is probably more of a me thing and less of like a Namecheap Namebase thing. But it seemed like we had a GatherTown community call a couple weeks ago. It seemed like that seemed like something that people were pretty into. So I would like to start doing those as soon as we wrap up hiring, right? And then development is actually happening. I'd like to host bi-weekly, possibly weekly, just really casual calls that you can hop into. We can change the times every week. So depending on where you are in the world, one of those times will work for you. And then you just come in and just complain or like bring up bugs, right? In case we miss something. I think the communication in the past could have definitely improved. And this is one way I'm hoping to really smooth those communication out, right? Yes. Yeah, and then so the last thing is I would encourage our namers here to, if you're interested, right? If you've been excited, you're here at HandyCon, the most like intense conference I've ever gone to, 3 days of this. So if you're really pumped now to kind of get more into Handshake, right? Become a director. Potentially get sponsored to go to blockchain conferences, probably get some merch for becoming a director. If you want to get more involved, some specific ways you can do so, right, to step up. One way is just serving as kind of like a bridge between communities. So I share a screenshot here of Skunk Ink, because what he's been doing is he's been sharing what's happening in the Skynet space in in our namer community Discord, but at the same time he's also sharing news about Handshake in the Skynet Discord. So he's really the bridge between our communities. This way we have a very specific point of contact. We all know, okay, if there's if Skynet people want to talk to Handshake, point of contact, right? Skunking. Otherwise, vice versa as well. So that's one way. If you're involved in other crypto projects, if you're involved in other communities, this is a very straightforward way to become a director, to get more involved. Is just kind of share news between the two, right? Serve as the bridge. Yeah, and the effort is really just share some important updates every once in a while, maybe like once a month, once every 2 weeks kind of thing, right? Another thing that would be really, really, really helpful. So I talked about sponsoring our directors to go to blockchain conferences, but we do need somebody to actually keep tabs on what blockchain conferences are happening around the world. That would be super duper helpful, and that would absolutely constitute becoming a director as well. And then business development, I already mentioned that. Business development, like getting kind of the existing DNS stack services, the traditional services to support Handshake. And supporting Handshake usually could be as simple as just relaxing their restrictions, like not checking that it's an ICANN TLD. So cPanel would be a pretty natural one for that. And then, and of course, I mentioned earlier, onboarding strong brands to really set up on their Handshake domain. Something that seems to really resonate well with these brands. A couple of things in my experience is kind of like disaster recovery, mirror like an insurance policy thing. I'm totally stealing words from a past panel from HandyCon. that they were very illustrative. Communities, just onboarding entire communities onto their Handshake. Let me tell you, man, communities are like really excited about the idea of owning their own community's name, like dot. In our case, it could be dot handshake. And then getting all of their community members a second level domain, a branded second level domain on their Handshake name. On their community name, right? And that is something that actually really, really excites a lot of communities I've spoken to, and brands as well. I mean, if we look at if we look at like dot branded domains do excite brands and communities a lot. If we just look at the questions on like HNS chat, most are about like .tx and .sats, right? Cool. So yeah, let's go to the next slide. So kind of ambitious, but I think we can accomplish everything I just mentioned by the end of 2023. Yeah, fairly confident. I will not set a specific roadmap like, oh, we're going to do this by this month or quarter. But it does seem reasonable to accomplish literally everything we just talked about by 2023, if not by the next HandyCon. So that will be pretty exciting times. But I wanted to say one thing. So this next slide, don't go to it yet. This next slide, it's a really large endeavor. So we want to really make sure we do it right. But if you want to go to the next slide, kind of decentralizing all the assets on Namebase. This has actually always been on our minds. The reason we've never prioritized it until now is because we've always been focused on 0 to 1 products, right? And since Bob Wallet, Bob Extension already exists, we don't really need to build that because the service already exists, right? And so that's why we focus on building like D-links or the logins, wrap HNS, and the registry and all this stuff, right? All these 0 to 1 improvements. But now, 2022, we can finally focus on those 1 to N improvements. And so one of those would be decentralizing our assets. You can kind of imagine just going into your account settings and just clicking decentralized assets, and it just happens, right? It just automatically transfers your assets over, and you're good to go. I've talked about this with the Kyokan team, the Bob Wallet team, and they seem really down to help collaborate on that. So that is something. Not sure if we'll be able to get it done this year, but just want to let you guys know that this is something that's definitely on our mind, right? I mean, we just, like, Hillan came, talked about how much he cares about like decentralization. Richard has talked about that on tweets and stuff too, right? So yeah, this is something that's definitely on our minds. Cool. So I think that just about wraps it up. Before I kind of close it, since I'm the last talk, I figured I wanted to go ahead to the next slide. Since I'm the last talk, I wanted to just kind of just leave this slide up a little bit to kind of see what we've done since last HandyCon. On the left is kind of like integrations or like efforts with external communities, and on the right is within our Handshake community. It's kind of crazy. The registry, right? HMail, HandyWiki, HDNS.io, Bob Extension, Fingertip. None of this stuff existed last HandyCon. That is insane. Like, that's within 1 year. Like, all of these like real game-changing products came out. So I can't even imagine what is going to be built in this coming year in 2023, right? Meanwhile, on the left, Sentinel DVPN, VPN service. If you use their service, you're just resolving Handshake, just as simple as that. We got listed on Bittrex, Bitrue. NamesCon was crazy. NamesCon is like traditional domaining kind of conference. When I first joined Handshake in 2020 at NamesCon, we had like 1 or 2 talks. And then NamesCon online this past fall, we had an entire dedicated track to Handshake, right? Like dedicated 2 or 3 day track that's just strictly about Handshake. Like, that is crazy, crazy growth right there. IPFS, we're in their docs. So if you use IPFS, like it's in there how to connect your Handshake name to an IPFS website. ICANN, they explicitly called our project out in their blog posts, right? Specifically mentioned Handshake, even linked to the Learning Center. So the Namebase Learning Center. So hey, that was pretty cool to see. Opera committed to integrating Handshake this year. And then of course, Namecheap acquisition of Namebase, right? Like really diving all in on Handshake. So all of this stuff happened in this past 1 year. Yeah, just kind of mind blowing to reflect on that. Cool. So the last thing, oh, and wait, did Flamingo Handshake not exist last HandyCon? I feel like Flamingo Handshake has been around for a minute. Yeah, pretty sure they did. Cool, let's go to the final slide. The last slide is kind of a self, yeah, this also happened. It's like, holy cow, 4.7 million Handshake. Like, I mean, I thought the 1 mil for .x was already just like kind of just already kind of pushing it, but geez, yeah, I'm kind of lost of words that this happened. Oh, I'm gonna share the link to this tweet. If you haven't already, let's blow this tweet up. This is crazy news, and the crypto native folks will understand what this means. Yeah, this is the last thing that has happened as well. So I know I'm way over time, but after this is kind of networking session. I'm kind of curious. I can do Q&A here, or we can move to the kind of networking lounge to just talk casually. What do you guys think? I'm actually curious from the audience, because you guys are the ones that are actually sitting and like listening to me rant for like 50 minutes. Yeah. Do you guys want me to do Q&A, like do the Q&A right now, or should we stick on schedule, close HandyCon, and then chat casually in the network lounge? I'll stick around for a bit to talk. Let's do it here. Half and half. Okay.
Yeah, and we can actually keep this open, and people can just come in and out as they want to as well. And yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's do this. Q&A. So when can I make that sweet SLD money? I've been waiting patiently. Yes, thank you for asking. Okay, Namebase registry is paused. What's up with that? Why can't I stake my names? Also, for some TLD sellers, oh great, that's actually the next question, is where are my SLD sale payments, right? So apologies, that has been taking a minute. We will be making it up for the delays. So you'll see what I mean in probably just a couple of weeks. But if you're looking to stake SLDs, right now we are migrating the Namebase for Namecheap registry. I don't know which direction, but once that has been completed, then you can finally stake your names. Yeah, in the past, right, if you guys remember, we really rolled out the registry as bare bones as possible. We got it out there as quickly as possible. And so there's tons of room for patching and improvements, right? Namecheap has been in the game forever. They kind of know how to make it really do it the right way. So we're not going to rush this, but as soon as that registry is live, which Hillan kind of teased that within a month or so, which is kind of crazy, then you'll be able to start staking your names again. Cool. So that was Answer Encrypted. Your SLD sales, will missing SLD sales be paid at the HNS exchange rate at the time of sale? You will not lose money. Let's put it that way. You will not be losing money on your SLD sales. You might even earn some interest on that. What's the plan with SLD program? When will SLD sales be back paid? Okay, I think I just answered that. How much of a priority is Namebase's customer service system going to be in the grand scheme of Namecheap's present customer service structure? How much a priority will Namebase's customer service system going to be? Skip Yeah, it took too long to think about that. How will SLDs be sold on Namecheap? There being over 2K of them, how will you sort and promote the best? Good question. I'm afraid I don't know the answer to that. Will Namecheap accept Handshake? I'm pretty sure Richard tweeted that out, right? That he wanted to accept Handshake coins for payment for even, I might be saying this wrong, but if I recall correctly, paying for even like .com domains with Handshake coins. Will Namecheap ever make a module we can implement into our at Namecheap 2? I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. I'm going to skip that. How will Namecheap deal with the conflict of interest between promoting their own names alongside our names? I don't think they're worried about that. I think Hillan really stressed that they're not really here for the money. They're here for the long-term vision of a internet domain name system that no one can really take down, right? So that is the least of their concerns. Let me check the normal chat real quick. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, oh, thank you. Will current stakers on Namebase be provided an alert if they want to continue staking or not? Huh? Will current stakers be provided an alert if they want to continue staking or not? Oh, the migration is opt-in, if that's what you mean. Yeah, you'll have it. You'll have an option there. But I imagine you probably want to migrate it because you're getting a lot of upgraded tools and stuff. I'm trying to see why you wouldn't want to. But yeah, I don't. Yeah. When will US customers be able to withdraw Handshake coins? When will US businesses be able to convert Handshake into USD and withdraw? Yeah. Good question. That includes myself as well. I'd love to be able to withdraw my Handshake coins. US businesses should already be able to convert Handshake into USD and withdraw those to a bank account. No, I know we've been talking on the side. I know you have the business account that we need to help you verify. Let's talk offline about that. Yeah, let's see if we can get that done before the end of the month. But please ping me again. Please nudge me again on Discord DMs like you have been, just so I don't forget this. Are bulk transfers on the roadmap? Oh, there's no roadmap, so technically not, because there's no roadmap. But bulk transfers, yeah, that's kind of my reaction. Yeah, not sure. It's just like if you really break down our priorities, right? Name-based product, that speed running, newcomer speed running, getting a name, setting up a website, as well as kind of Handshake's branding. It's kind of unclear to me where the bulk transfer fits into that picture. I know it's like a UX improvement for sure, but priorities. Are there going to be options to sort and store names in separate portfolios or folders? Yes. What's up with renewals coming up in 7 or so months? Nothing special. Renewals, Namebase, we automatically submit your renewals. I think we do it 3 months out before the renew date, with plenty of time to spare. And then on top of that, I personally manually check. We have a query to check if there are any names that are supposed to have been renewed within that 3-month time that haven't been. So I manually check that every month to make sure that no renewals are missed. But just for context, right? So renewals, you have, in this case, 3 months to send them, whereas in like reveal period, you only get like 10 days to submit them, right? And I don't think we've ever missed a single reveal transaction. So it would be, yeah, I'm not sure what would need to happen for us to miss any renewals. How will one get named? You know what, I'm pushing in 60 minutes now, so I think this is pretty natural time to kind of close this up. And then if you had a question that I didn't manage to answer, I'll stick around in the lounge after the closing session, and then we could chat there. Cool.
All right. Well, thank you, Johnny. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for presenting and giving your time to talk up here. Yeah, we're going to do that closing in just a couple of minutes. And then after that, the networking and booths will be open until, I don't know. Mike, do you know when?
I mean, there's no real reason to keep it closed. We could just let it roll, you know. I mean, I don't think there's a reason to close it, just maybe till the last person's there.
All right.
Whatever,
Well,
man.
sounds good. Well, we'll I guess we'll catch you all at the closing, our closing ceremony.
Yeah, it should be a quick 5-10 minutes, just wrap up. All right. Thanks, Johnny, too. It was really great. Awesome updates.
Kinetic is a blockchain crypto investment firm based in Hong Kong and Puerto Rico. Founded in 2016, they were the first fund in Hong Kong and one of the earliest in Asia. With a portfolio of over 220 companies, they were seed investors in such projects as Ethereum, Parity and Polkadot, Solana, FTX and of course Handshake and Namebase. Founder Johan Chu is an active investor and supporter of the Handshake ecosystem. Over 100,000 domains, co-founder of DWeb Foundation, co-founder of HandyCon, and sponsor of the Handshake House at Miami Hack Week 2022.